affected me emotionally in the beginning because I didn't know what to do. It affected me because I felt like, as a parent, you don't know if you did something. You know, I didn't know, was it something I did while I was pregnant? Was it something that, you know, and I'm thinking, oh my God, why Versailles? You know, why does my baby have to go through this? Why does he have to, you know, it freaked me out big time for about a day. And then it's stop feeling sorry for yourself, Jennifer, and figure it out, and what can you do? Because, I mean, if I sit back, I mean, it's not fair to him, you know? They always keep on giving you that old adage that they only give you as much as you can handle and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, well, for some reason they wanted him to have this path. And I don't know why, but he was chosen for it, and I just have to support him and give him as much that I can so that he can make himself a great life. And then he can, you know, take it from wherever he needs to and figure it out. You know?
So, like today, do you think you have any additional stresses that maybe you wouldn't have, or you're just so used to everything?
With Versailles, no.
Just yeah, just regarding Versailles.
No, with Versailles, no, not at all. The only, if anything, additional stress is the fact that you need to, you need to make sure that he's still in the program that he needs to be in. I mean, it's like it is a little bit of additional stress that you have him in a completely different school, you know, completely different program, a completely different situation. Yes, would it be easier to have them both in the same thing where you drop them off and they're there and that's it? And then, sure, you know, but it's not that much of a crutch to where it's like he gets a heck of a lot more benefit from it than me having stress about it, you know. So, but no, I mean, for the most part, you know, I'm real fortunate that he's a pretty, you know, average kid. He doesn't exude needing a lot. So.
What is most satisfying about your role as a mother?
Seeing him improve, seeing him being able to achieve things that I hoped that he would be able to, and he's proving to me that he can. You know, and the fact that he does have a disability, it's not holding him back, and that's what I think is for me is a great part, because he's showing me that because he gets the support and that he is kind of going in that right path, that he's not being held back for any reason. You know, I mean, if it was something to where, you know, he wasn't getting it, and I mean, I think that would be a lot more frustrating, because then you're like, what else can I do? What can I try? But we're really, really fortunate that he catches on, you know, and he keeps going, and it's like, and he's quick about it. It's not like, you know, it's a big frustrating thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's got friends that go down that other path, and I'm like, thank goodness mine doesn't, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better, because as school increases, the responsibilities increase, the challenges increase.
Do you think it's easier as he's gotten older? Harder?
Harder. Every year's harder, because now it's like he's learning things to where, for the average child that comes home these days, they may have 45 minutes of homework. Okay, Versailles has 2.5, and I sit down with him and work with him for 2.5 hours when he gets home, because it's a thing of, are you comprehending what you're reading? If you're not, we have to explain it to him. Are you comprehending your math? If not, we explain it to him. Fortunately, with math, he's off the wall. He's just, I mean, he's awesome. But there's a lot of stuff that, instead of just saying, here, go read your homework, do this, do that, turn it in, I sit down and I'm like, okay, explain this to me. And if you can't explain it to me, then we're going to go over it together. So, I mean, his whole workload goes from a, you know, 30-minute to 45-minute thing to a 2.5 hours, you know, for homework sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, that can get to be a lot. But again, if you don't do it with him, he's going to fall behind. And he wouldn't be 8 years old going into 4th grade. He'd be 8 years old sitting in 1st grade going, what am I supposed to do? You know?
Oh, like, okay, for the IEP, his goals, like, what are examples of some of his goals this year?
If you need a copy, I can give you a copy of something like that.
Oh,
so
okay,
yeah, because I mean, he's got so much stuff on there.
Or an example of when, like I know
an example, it would, I don't know if it was now or when, but there was a time to where, it wouldn't be one now, it would have been one from before, but like he was having difficulty figuring out like the who, what, when, and where. You know, if a question like that was asked, who, what, when, and where. An IEP goal might say, being able to identify who, what, when, and where in a question. And then it would say like, by the 3 months into it, you know, understand understand it by 60% of the time, and then it would say like by the 9 month, understand it by 70% of the time, you know, and so it would just kind of give you a breakdown to where if there was something that he was struggling with, they would identify that, and then they would identify a goal. Okay, within 6 months, he should have that by X percent.
Yeah.
And then by his annual IEP, he should have met that goal by whatever percent. And if he doesn't meet it, then they have to
Do they
readjust
give you
it.
like, not advice, but maybe like tools like, okay, we need you to work on this more with him, or do they keep it?
It's not just us though, it's everybody. It's his therapist, because he does speech therapy at school too. So it's his therapist that works on it with him, it's his teachers that work with him, and then it's myself as well at home that works with him. Can I what? No, you're not going to go in there and watch right now. What did he ask you to ask me? Dries.
I did not.
Okay.
And they're always there. Every meeting, they're always there.
At the IEP?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they always contact. Do they contact you individually before to like you said that they would let you know what's going to go on?
They'll send you out a thing saying, okay, in 3 weeks we want to do this IEP day. Does this work for you? And if you come back and say yes, it does, then they send you a piece of paper and you're signing a piece of paper saying I accept the blah 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 blah. Then they'll send you out the packet saying, okay, this is what we're going to be discussing. Look it over. Let us know if you have any questions. So when you get into the IEP, you have a full breakdown to where they're like, if I said, okay, on goal number 6, why are you saying this, that, the other? Then it's addressed at that point instead of me going through it with them and then saying, okay, now I have a question, because that can turn into a huge, long,
Is it the teacher that sends it to you? Or?
The teacher will provide,
Okay, so she sends it to you regarding everyone?
Exactly.
What advice would you have for me, because I'm studying to be a special education teacher? Regarding working with families.
Working with families, advice. I would say that the more information and literature that you can provide families with, regardless of whatever their child's need is big time helpful. Getting as much, knowledge under your belt regarding whatever or do you have a specific area that you're looking at wanting, or just special ed, or
mild, moderate,
mild, moderate? Yeah, I mean, as long as you have a really good understanding, people they need to have a hand that guides them, and especially if you find out that your child has something going on, people are grasping for someone to help them, and if they're not as fortunate as I to where, I was put in contact with a teacher who put me in contact, then they're in limbo. So, I mean, it's like, my advice to you is learn your craft, know what you can and whatever you can to provide, stuff for the parents, because they are looking for someone to help them, and that's just the biggest thing. They really, really want someone to help soothe what they're, all of a sudden going, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do now?
So when they were helping you, did they give you like, say, the literature, paper with like resources, but I know you said they said contact this person.
Right.
Did they ever have like, provide videos for you to see, or like guest speakers with people the same?
No. I mean, and like with Versailles, the one thing I did do with him on a completely different level is that's a great question, because even though the school system and the hospitals and all those kind of people didn't, the cochlear implant company that he got his CI through, we sat with them and did a video thing that you'll have, a copy of that. But we did that for the purpose of letting families know. When you've got families who are kind of like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do now? Now they have a video of my son with our story that can kind of help, direct them.
So you saw other people's stories?
No, they didn't have them. That's why we did it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they didn't have those kinds of things for us. But that's where they said, if you guys are willing to do this, this will help other families. So we did that. So now there is a video that can help other families should they want it. The video is actually at house as well, because people who come to house and they don't know what to do, they'll show them the video. Because so many people are, so many people are completely unaware of what to do. Stop.